Hi, my name is TJ Wiseman, and this is my World War I unit that I've created for our assignment in our technology class in the EDCI 522 class. This is a unit for ninth graders in a modern world history course. If we go here and click on Meet Mr. Wiseman, there's just a little bit of information about myself. Um, I am a teacher at Central Crossing High School in Southwestern City Schools. I'm an intervention specialist. I've been there. This upcoming year will be my fifth year. My licensure as an intervention specialist, mild to moderate, as well as a social studies, integrated social studies 7 through 12 uh, licensure. I have taught a wide variety of classes there, both inclusion and resource room. This upcoming year, I will be teaching resource room modern world history, U.S. history and government, and inclusion modern world history. Besides teaching there, I also coach for the football team. Just my personal life, I got married last summer in Las Vegas. This May, we added to our family. We had Jenny and I, my wife Jenny and I had our son, Graham Pierce Wiseman, and we also have two dogs. But going ahead and moving on with the lesson, if I click here on lesson plans, this lesson plan is calls for 6 different lessons. That will cover everything from the causes of World War I all the way to the Treaty of Versailles and that ended World War I and the aftermath of World War I is in the lasting impact section. So if I clicked here on causes World War I. It brings up my lesson plan. The main standard for this modern world history, the causes of World War I, include militarism, imperialism, nationalism, and alliances. This is going to use some of the NETS teacher student standards and also some of the P21 standards that you can go ahead and read. But our goals for this lesson is for students to be able to define the causes of World War I, and students to be able to will be able to explain how the causes led to the beginning of the war. We'll be using Chromebooks, graphic organizers, PowerPoint, and a scavenger hunt for this lesson. The first thing the students will be doing is a pre-test over World War I. They'll use Socratic for that. Then they will do a think, pair, share on what they already know about World War I or what they think they already know. Next will be some direct instructions. I will show you the PowerPoint here in a second. Students will use that to fill out the main causes of World War I. Main is militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism, and it also talks about assassination as the spark that led to World War I. Once we're done with that, students will use their Chromebooks to research and complete a scavenger hunt of information, and then at the very end of the lesson, students will use an exit ticket. The main assessment in this would be the exit slip that the students complete. So if we close that, we can click here. It's just a real short, basic uh, PowerPoint that comes up. PowerPoint, there's just some slides with basic information, definitions of the causes of World War I. The students will use this PowerPoint to take some notes, which is in the form of a graphic organizer, which I will show you here next. Here's the graphic organizer for the PowerPoint. It goes over the main causes there and gives them space to jot down their notes. Along with this, if you scroll up, is the World War I scavenger hunt. Students have to research on their own on the Chromebooks, find who was members of what allies, what alliances during the World War I, also the main countries involved, looking up their leaders, when they joined the war, why they joined the war, those type of things. So for the main countries involved, they will be looking at the basic information on those countries. And then, of course, when they're done with this, their assessment is a Socratic exit ticket slip type activity. Okay, the second part of the lesson continues the discussion of the causes of World War One. Kids are going to do some problem solving activities in this. They are going to use some student active learning, a little bit of creativity. Um, they're going to collaborate and work in groups in this one and use some technological systems. Again, there's some P21 goals. You can read through those yourself. The measurable goals for this lesson are the same as the lesson before. Students will define the causes of World War I. Students will explain how these causes led to the beginning of the war. Materials, they're going to be doing a document question on this. They'll also need Chromebooks. It's not in there, I will have to add it, but they will also need their cell phones for this. They will complete a discussion using Poll Everywhere, which is, I need to add that too, which is a website where they can type discussion questions, answer multiple choice questions, those type of things through their phone, and then it pops up on a screen for them. So they will use that for the discussion and to lead an actual class discussion. After that takes place, and the question they'll be answering on that is, how can an assassination lead to a world war? They'll have to pull information from what we talked about yesterday to answer those questions, or the day before. After that, they will work on a document-based question activity. Here's the document-based question activity. It takes a look at maps, primary sources, political cartoons, graphs, all kinds of things they need to know how to analyze and for the social studies methods, and gives them some questions about these documents. All these documents relate back to the causes that were discussed the day before. Once they have completed that document-based question, they need to get on the Chromebooks and find a primary source document or quote or something that supports one of the causes of World War I and explain how that supports the cause of World War I. After that, they're going to write a paragraph out of the causes of World War I discussed yesterday. What do you believe was the main cause and why? So they have to pick the causes, discuss and argue and create an argument of why they think that is the main cause, and then based on their answers, they will be grouped into groups on depending on what they decided, and come up with the strongest points for that argument as a group, and then present those to class. So the assessment for this lesson would be their paragraphs and the class discussion at the end of class. I'm going to quickly go through these next few lessons. The next lesson is on new technology of World War I. It deals with the standard advances in technology, communication, and transportation, improved lives, but also negative consequences. They're going to look at the weapons of World War I in this. Again, there's a whole bunch of other different standards for technology, but students can list the new technology of World War I, and students can explain how these new technologies impacted World War I. They're going to use Chromebooks, and they're going to create a Prezi or Google slide presentation at the end of this. At the beginning of class, that we'll be talking about war in general, more how students or how technology has changed war over time. Not just talking about World War I, but wars in general. Then they'll be placed in groups, and each will be given a different weapon or new technology used during World War I. And then they'll be given a worksheet of questions they have to answer and research online and find those information about those, and then they'll use a Prezi to present that information they found, and then the assessment on this will be the presentations, as well as the kids will be creating their own quizzes over the information. They could use this and submit it in Google Forms or something of that nature if they felt like it. If we go back here, the next is on trench warfare. Again, it deals with technology. Trench warfare was the way World War I was fought. It was fought this way because of the new weapons. So students, again, will begin talking about how war was changed specifically, how they think war would be changed specifically because of the weapons discussed yesterday. They will come up with their own definition of trench warfare before we go into it. They'll watch a video clip that shows them visually trench warfare from the movie War Horse, and then they have three options they can pick up what they want to do to demonstrate their learning. They can pretend they're a soldier and write a letter or diary explaining what daily life was like. They can draw a detailed diagram of how the trenches were used, what was in them, things like that, or they can create a comic strip or novel that illustrates what it was like for a soldier fighting in the trenches. And again, there's an exit slip with this activity. Treaty of Versailles is the treaty that ended World War I. Students, again, will have a bell ringer question. They will take some notes on the Paris Peace Conference and what the goal of the three main countries that won the war, France, Great Britain, wanted to accomplish. Then they will be assigned one of the leaders, and they will complete a historical superhero project, which I'll show you here in a second. Then they have the opportunity to share, and again, an exit slip on the big three countries after this. Here's a historical superhero project. This is an example from a class. This is they did Stalin, but they'll basically be creating taking one of the leaders from the big three and using what they know about how they acted at the end of World War I. Are they a superhero? Are they a supervillain? And why? And they kind of got to create this. Creatively think about it, and you answer these questions: superpower, weaknesses, origin story. Lasting impact of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles will be discussed throughout the class as one of the major causes of the rise of dictators after World War I, and one of the major causes of World War II, which even led to the Cold War. So it's a very important document that we'll discuss throughout the year. Again, there are different standards, but in this one, again, we're using Poll Everywhere to create a discussion about the Treaty of Versailles at the beginning of class. Students will then look at the primary source document that I've attached here and summarize in their own words what the article stated, meaning what the actual treaty stated, and then in their groups they will summarize who they think got the blame for causing World War I. Why do you think that country was to blame? And then again, they will individually complete a question. World War I was known as the war to end all wars. Why do you think this was not the case? What impact did the Treaty of Versailles have on the beginning of World War II? So that's kind of how this last wrap-up ended, and then that will lead us into our next unit on the rise of dictators. To quickly go through the rest of the page, here are the standards used. You can read through those, but there are a lot of standards that have been discussed in this class that are used. Main technologies being used: Chromebooks, Poll Everywhere, YouTube, Resi, Google Drive, Google Slides. I didn't put Google Forms on there, but that will be used too, and Socrative. And then the assessment pieces I've kind of already discussed when I went over the lessons. But again, here are the assessments, the students' learning objectives, and the assessments to see if they meet those learning objectives. Thank you for your time.